All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from IRP. Bradley James and Patrick Pieper on the front row. Indy Kirchenbauer, Brian Hewitt have the second row. Clay Kirchenbauer right behind his son next to Richard Cragen on the third row. Zach Mead, Vic Brown on the fourth. Joe Lutz, Ryan McDaniel round out the top 10. Austin Ruskov starting in 11th next to Colby Whipple in 12th. Andy Wilkinson in 13th. Puchanowski in 14th. Colton Johansson in 15th. Kirk Marble at 16th. Adam Clark, Tyler Ott 17th and 18th. Eric Walkowiak and Mark Dantuma round out the top 20. Shane Hoffman at 21st. Larry Waits 22nd. Gary Wright 23rd. Richie Joplin at 24th, likely not taking the grid. Andrew Thornton and David Lux rounding out the field. Hey, good evening, Zoe. How are you? All right, everybody buckled up, stands. Tightening those belts one more time. Pace truck will take them around one last time. Doing great, Zoe, and really excited for this race. It's our first flat track of the season, the first flat track we've seen in the 87s. Tire wear has been huge here tonight. Practice, the drivers are saying the tires start going after 5 laps. They got a long night ahead. All right, here we go. Pace car, pace truck dives in. Bradley James leads them out of 4. The green flag flies there, down and away, and the outside line a little bit slow off the start. Brian Hewitt already up to the high line, under attack. Richard Cragen looks underneath. Zoe, I've seen it. I've watched a lot of gameplay, but not my kind of game. I'm terrible at online stuff. Online games like that. However, as we mentioned during pre-race, folks, HDSAI ramping back up this week, so make sure you're following on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. YouTube Shorts will leak. Cow Keeper was loose. YouTube Shorts will start popping off again tomorrow. And some new streams this weekend. Bradley James still holding on to the lead. Indy Kirchenbauer now in second. Hey, good evening, Jason. How are you? Likely could be a bit of carnage tonight. As it looks like Bradley James may be having a connection problem as Indy the Kid reels him in. Pieper still holds on to third, Clay in fourth, Cragen in fifth. Indy does have the fastest lap so far. And on the move, Puchanowski already up 4 spots into the top 10. Colby Whipple also up 4 spots now into 8th. Kirk Marble up 3 spots into 13th. Tyler Ott, Eric Walkowiak both up 4 spots each, 14th and 15th. Mark Dantuma and Shane Hoffman both up 3 spots into 17th and 18th. Gary Wright up 4 spots into 19th. Richie Joplin, David Lux, and Andrew Thornton did not grid. And Indy the Kid is on the attack. As we mentioned, tire wear, a huge issue here tonight. Flat track racing always hard on the right side. And that right front tire will get ate up in the blink of an eye. And we're already starting to see some fall off on the lap times. Eric Walkowiak up 6 spots into 13th. He and Bob Ross really on the move. But Ruskov up on the high side. Now, a lot of cars, that high line around here is the fastest way around. But I did overhear a lot of drivers talking about using that bottom line here tonight for more than just passing. So, could be seeing a lot of lines in use. The top two have already pulled a 2 1/4 second lead as Clay Kirchenbauer looking for third. Eric Walkowiak couldn't get the job done on Ruskov quite yet. Zach Mead has had a rough start. He has already dropped back 10 spots into 17th. And Andy Wilkinson has had a rough start, slipping back 10 spots into 23rd. Andy did say he was struggling a bit here in practice. He was going to do his best to just turn laps, stay out of the way. Well, after a week off, the drivers were chomping at the bit to get here to IRP tonight. Some of them are dreading next week as they will be at Sonoma, and Ryan McDaniel has had a problem. There's Ryan, about mid-pack, gets loose out of 4, slides it hard into the infield wall. And the caution is out, looks like for the leader, Bradley James. And let's see, Ryan McDaniel did tow it in. Let's see what happened with Bradley. All right, there's Bradley. Indy right on his... Indy was pushing him out of turn 2. Let's take a look at that one from the chopper. Indy gets a good run in, just taps him coming out of the turn. Bradley goes around, but everybody manages to avoid him. All right, most of the field coming in, likely going to see at least 2 tire stops, but Colby Whipple, Pujanowski, Adam Clark, and Andy Wilkinson all staying out for the moment. All right, everybody from 5th on back just completed a pit stop. Mark Dantuma's coming in late. He was up to 6th. Bradley James, after being involved in that, is in 5th. Looks like a 2-tire stop for him. 4 tires for Patrick, Indy, and Clay. Gary Wright looks like fuel only. And the majority of the field did 4 tires and fuel. Now, they only had 5 additional sets of tires, and as we mentioned, this track is eating the tires alive tonight. Lights go out on the pace car. Seems like a really good time to get a little bit loud, so put your hands next to that volume knob and get ready, because when the green flag drops, I'm going to shut up and let you guys crank it up. Alright, pace truck dives to pit road. Colby Whipple in control on the restart. Here they come, out of turn 4, the green flag flies, crank it up, y'all! And we'll have to try it again here in a moment because the caution is already back out. Adam Clark involved. Let's see, I saw an attempt at 4 wide mid-pack. Let's see if we can see what happened to Adam. All right, there's Adam in the 04 Bradley James right behind. Oh, looks like Adam may have gotten a bit of a bump. Wow, several close calls. Looking down from the chopper. Coming out of turn 2, Bradley gives him a bit of a bump, slams that inside wall, gets another bump from behind, but the vast majority of the field makes it through. Let's see if we can, wait a minute, let's see if anybody comes in. Colby Whipple stays out, let's get a word. Hey, Colby, it's Doug. You got me, buddy?
I gotcha, Doug.
I have to wonder, when most of the field takes 2 or 4 tires, you stay out with Pudge and Andy. How are you feeling about this strategy?
I'm an eighth place car at best, whether I have new tires or old tires right now. Like, I'm just out here. It felt like lap 15 was way too early for tires, and I figured let's get a couple bonus points, catch up to the field a bit while Burke and those guys are gone tonight. So I'll get some bonus points for leading here, and yeah, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but the guys behind me are good enough drivers. I don't think they're going to wreck me if I'm on slightly older tires, but I don't know. In practice, I didn't think the tires were falling off that crazy.
That's funny because a lot of the drivers were talking about how quickly they were falling off, but it's a bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off.
Yeah, I think it's just they're probably driving the car better than I am, so.
Well, show them how to Whipple and Nene, buddy. Good luck.
Thanks, Doug.
Colby Whipple does pick up bonus points for leading a lap, and we're going to try and crank it up one more time on the restart. All right, pace truck is back in. Whipple in control. And the green flag flies. Crank it up, y'all. scraping coming through 1 and 2 as Bradley James is reclaiming the lead. And man, it's a dogfight. Wow. Several cars kissing the wall on the outside coming out of 4. Pujanowski is stuck in the wall. He got clear. But he did lose some ground, slips back into 4th. And there's a problem back behind. Now the caution flies. Colton Johansson, Tyler Ott, Gary Wright involved. Let's see what happened. Colton has towed it in. All right, looking down from the chompers, they go off into 3 and 4. Oh, wow. Believe that's the 11 of Tyler Ott gets big loose coming into 3 and 4, slams on the brakes and then gets hit multiple times from behind. Okay, it looks like Tyler may have missed his braking point as he sends it in. Gets on the brakes a little too hard, snaps loose, slams the wall, then gets hit repeatedly. Tyler Ott did end up towing it in as well as Colton. Bradley James has the lead. Clay Kirchenbauer, Patrick Pieper, Andy Kirchenbauer, and Andy Wilkins in the top 5. Eric Wilkowiak and Bob Ross on the move up 9 spots into 10th now. Jason, it definitely is, buddy. Mark Dantuma up 7 spots now into 13th. Shane Hoffman up 6 spots into 15th. Larry Waits up 6 spots into 16th. Colton on his way back out, but nope, he does have the car repaired. Adam Clark also back out on track, and Tyler on his way out, but Tyler ends up losing a lap. And Clay Kirchenbauer now on the outside of the front row. Clay loves these kind of flat tracks. He's exceedingly good at saving the tires. We haven't seen Clay in victory lane yet this season. Tonight could be the night. But it may come down to a battle of attrition. A lot of cars got banged up. And remember, they only have 1 fast repair available. And here we go, out of turn 4, Bradley in control. The green flag flies again. And Patrick Pieper takes advantage down to the inside. Wow, Bradley is just gone. Meanwhile, the battle is on behind. The longer they're battling, the further Bradley can get. Clay's starting to pull ahead out of turn 4. Eric Wilkowiak and his partner in crime, Bob Ross, really moving. Whoa, a little bit of bobbling out of turn 2 back behind. Worth noting, Brian, Craggin's around. Oh, Hewitt's airborne. And And the caution is out. Well, definitely a bumpy start to this one. Let's take a look. All right, looking down from the chopper, the 6 of Kraken. Wow, he was loose into turn 3, and they're 3 wide behind. Nothing they could do. I thought Kraken may have gotten a love tap going into 3. Does not appear to be the case. He just gets big loose, and Hewitt, who had been moving forward, and there was nothing he could do. Brian ends up on his lid. Hey, good evening, Glenn. How are you? Let's see if we can get a quick word with Hewitt. Make sure he's okay. Hey, Brian, it's Doug. You got me?
Hey, Doug, what's going on?
Hey, man, you had a bit of a ride there. You've been on the move most of the night, having a great run, but ended up on your lid. Not the best ending to that run.
Well, I made the bad decision of running in my underwear tonight. I don't know if I'm on fire right now or not, so you might want to check on the crew and see what's going on. Maybe they're eating ice cream. I don't know what's going on.
Well, man, you're running around in your underwear. You might want to go to the infield care center. Make sure you're okay.
If you can catch me.
Well, man, will you be able to get the car back out and get back in this?
Yeah, I'm getting back in this thing. I got, they're changing tires on my car right now, and maybe a couple laps down, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, good luck, buddy.
All right, thanks, Doug.
So Brian is pulling the old Ricky Bobby, running around like he's on fire in his underwear. Our apologies to the people watching at home for that. We'll have some psychological tests done on Hewitt this week. In the meantime, Pace Truck is in. And here they come out of turn 4. And the green flag flies again. Bradley away again. He has got the restarts figured out tonight. Clay clears into second this time. Now Pieper and Indy battling back behind. Pieper pulling back up into third. You heard the mention from Colby Whipple about some of the top drivers not being here. We're on our 8th race of the season. No, excuse me, our 6th race of the season. Cody Burke has already got multiple wins. Looks like 5 so far. I think our stat sheet is, whoa, a bit wrong. Well, Kowiak is sideways. And he recovers the car. No caution. All right, let's watch. There's Eric Walkowiak with Bob Ross on board. Big loose out of 4, drifts it through the infield. I don't think he touched the wall, and he manages to save it. Well, great recovery. Cody Burke has won all but about 1 race this season, I believe. Our stat sheet's a little bit off tonight, but Clay Kirchenbauer comes in tonight in second. Could be a huge points night for him. Adam Rubel, who came in tonight third in points, not in the race, which means fourth in points, Pujanowski has an opportunity tonight as well. And Patrick Pieper comes in tonight fifth in points. Hey, good evening, Carl. Folks, as I mentioned earlier during the pre-race, everything, our last 2 weeks of HDSAI has not been the usual. We haven't had many YouTube shorts, haven't had a lot of stuff out there beyond the race broadcast. That all changes tomorrow. We'll be back to work. So make sure you're following on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. Tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, Home Motorsports is back as their new season continues as well. Plus, the Unicorn will be a truckin' tomorrow night. That is always a lot of fun and a lot of laughs as Indy the Kid takes second from his dad. Brian Hewitt and Adam Clark have both had problems back behind. Clark is going to pit road. Let's see what happened. All right, there's Brian down on the bottom. Remember, he lost a lot of ground. Started to push up, checked up. Avoided hitting another car, but ends up in the wall. And Adam Clark back behind. He slams the wall out of two. Bounces off the inside wall. Wow. And the caution is back out. And it looks like Bradley James. And let's see what happened to Bradley. There's Bradley up front into turn 3. Just loses the back end. Wow, Clay shoots the gap. See if we can dial up Clay Kirchenbauer's in-car camera. Indy Kirchenbauer just ahead. Indy tried to go low. Clay goes high. Clay kisses the wall, but takes the lead. Yeah, Carl, love having these 87s on track. Looking forward to the whole season of these 87s, which next week will be at Sonoma. The week after that, we will be at Kansas, followed by Darlington, Kern County, Willow Springs on April 15th. Man, that's going to be an epic race. Michigan, Bristol, Talladega, Charlotte, and finishing the season May 27th at Homestead. McDaniel is back on the lead lap, back up into 9th. Tyler Ott back on track, but he is still a couple laps down, as is Colton and Hewitt. And Hewitt, he's got some damage. And the green flag flies again. Brian Hewitt had used his fast repair earlier in the race, so that car has got some damage. The team will have to work on it under caution. Clay Kirchenbauer to the lead. Again, could be a huge points night for Clay as he came in tonight second in points behind the Dominator. But Vic Brown is on the move, and Vic has been on fire lately. Richard Cragen, who was involved in that earlier incident, now back up into fourth, battling with fifth place Joe Lux. Patrick Pieper trying to make his way forward next to Andy. Man, Pieper is flying. He did come in and take 4 tires. Several cars came in and took 4 tires on that last stop. And if this thing stays green, those guys on fresh tires are going to have a huge advantage. Clay still has the lead, but we saw earlier Bradley James had marched his way away from the pack. Clay unable to do that. Bradley currently stuck back in 11th, trying to get through traffic. And let's dial up his in-car camera as he comes out of turn 4, right behind Kirk Marble. And you see a car ahead, Joe Lux kissed the wall. Out of turn 2, back on the power. You see, no point. He is working the wheel all the way around the track. Just no point on the track where he's not working. Out of turn 4, down the front straightaway. Back into turn 1, the car pushing up. But on the power, out of turn 2, down the back straightaway. Hard on the brakes, into 3. 3 wide up ahead and out of turn 4. Bradley back up into 8th. He did take 4 tires under that caution. Clay still out front. Vic in second. Zach Mead now up into 3rd, and Zach is looking underneath Vic. Whoa, Zach a little loose coming out of 4. Pieper gets a run up to the high side. Gerald makes a pretty good description at this track. They're like street stocks, but with way too much power. Hutchinowski now back up into 10th. But Mark the Man Dantuma in 11th, right on Pudge's bumper. Austin Ruskoff on the move. Joe Lux after kissing the wall. I'm thinking he picked up some damage. He has slipped back to 14th. Shane Hoffman now up into 15th, up 6 spots. Gary Wright up 7 spots into 16th. Ryan McDaniel has lost a lot of ground after the restart, all the way back into 17th. Indy Kirchenbauer peeking underneath Patrick Pieper as they come out of turn 2. Kirk Marble at the moment, the biggest mover in the field. Up 11 spots now into 5th. Mark Dantuma has just moved into the top 10, into 10th. But Andy Wilkinson trying to take it back. Clay Kirchenbauer is starting to open up a bit of a gap, about a half a second, as they battle behind. Vic trying to hold Pieper off for the moment. Vic in the Crisco car. Does that give him an advantage if he ends up in the wall? The right side a little bit slicked off with Crisco. He might just slide through the turn, be even faster. Pieper peeking to the inside through 1 and 2. And Patrick may have a run here as they go off into 3. And they all need to watch out. Bradley James, now up into 6, has caught the pack. Vic has slipped all the way back to 5th as Kirk Marble continues to move forward. And Indy the Kid, now in 2nd, is reeling his dad in. Bradley James now up into 5th. So far, a great recovery. Pujanowski now to 8th. Dan Tuma now to 9th. Tyler Ott, Brian Hewitt, Colton Johansson, all still on track. Adam Clark is out early. And Indy the Kid just took the lead from his dad. Clay slides back into 3rd. Pieper there in 2nd. And lap traffic coming into play. Lap traffic, oh! Indy kissed the wall going into 3. Pieper to the inside, can't complete it. Kirk Marble, meanwhile, underneath. Clay Kirchenbauer, and look at this, Bradley James trying to make it 3 wide. Kirk Marble pulls ahead, now Bradley looks underneath Clay. And Indy, for the moment, is holding off Pieper. Larry Waits has slipped back into 19th. Ryan McDaniel in 18th. Eric Walkowiak had a great start, but has slipped back to 17th. Gary Wright up 7 spots into 16th. We saw Lux having some problems earlier on. He has slipped back into 15th. Shane Hoffman continues to march forward. Up 7 spots into 14th. Austin Ruskoff currently in 13th. Colby Whipple in 12th. Zach Mead in 11th. And Andy in 10th. As Pudge is looking underneath Richard Cragen. Pudge looking for 7th. Meanwhile, Bradley James now up into 4th. Kirk Marble now up 13 spots into third. Patrick Pieper in second is losing ground. Indy the Kid out front by 9/10 of a second. The fact that Indy has clean air at the moment really helping them. As Gerald mentioned, the tire temps will stay cooler, not fighting the car as much. And as we hit the halfway point, the drivers have to be thinking about the fuel strategy. Drivers are looking at 58 to 60 laps on a tank of fuel. Most of the field stopped on lap 45, 46, right in that area. So they'll be able to make it almost to lap 100, which means if we stay green, they'll only have one more stop. Mark Dantuma continuing to march 40, has gotten past Pudge, now into 7th. And at the moment, Dantuma is faster than all 6 cars ahead of him, including the Kid, who now has a 1.1 second lead. Bradley James, after leading most of the first 40 laps, lost a lot of ground after having a wreck. Getting a little bit of a push from Indy coming out of turn 2. He recovers and has now made his way back up into 4th. Kirk Marble trying to get a run underneath Pieper. I mentioned early on during pre-race, these guys, those right side tires getting 8 up tonight. Indy Kirchenbauer's fastest lap, 23.94. Last time by, 25.11. Ouch! Indy smacks the wall. Ryan McDaniel is on pit road. And I do not believe he can go the distance from here unless he conserves, but he is taking 4 tires and fuel. Indy's lead still holding at about 1 second. Mark Dantuma is reeling in the cars ahead, but now Ryan is out on track with 4 fresh Goodyears on the car. You want to see the difference in what those fresh tires can do? Austin Roscoff is in. Down into 1 and 2. And remember, these guys have been on these tires for about 40 laps. Ryan just put a set on. He's able to drive deeper into the turn and just starts driving by Shane Hoffman, also in. And Ryan able to put it wherever he wants at the moment. Zach Mead is also in. Larry Waits has had a problem and towed in. Now there's Larry coming through 3 and 4. Looked like he kissed the wall. No, I'm sorry, out of turn 2. Looking down at Larry from the chopper. You see, gets back on the power, just no grip in those rear tires, smacks that inside wall hard. Clay Kirchenbauer's also in. Joe Locke's on his way off pit road now. These drivers, and it's going to be very, very close on fuel for these guys that just came in. Heeper still holding on to second. Kirk Marble still on his bumper. Larry Waits is back out on track. Bradley James still holding on to fourth, has lost some ground to Kirk. Now next time by, these drivers should be okay on fuel as Vic Brown has come in. Vic Brown, the first driver in the top 10. That had pitted under that last caution to come in. Clay Kirchenbauer has also been in, but I believe Clay had been stretching it earlier as Colby Whipple gives up 9th. Meanwhile, Andy Kirchenbauer continues to extend his lead, now 1 1/4 seconds, and is stretching the fuel as far as possible. Based on the numbers we got from the drivers before the race, looks like Indy can go about another 12 laps, as can the other drivers, including Mark Dantuma, who's now up into 5th. Whoa, Dantuma loose out of 4 hard into the wall. Mark had been on a march since the drop of the green, gets on the power, out of turn 4, snaps loose, hard to the inside wall. Dantuma did tow it in. Larry Waits, Tyler Ott have both just come in. Larry picked up a black flag. And Mark Dantuma is officially out of the race. Patrick Pieper is in. Gary Wright is in. Jason, you're absolutely right. Getting out of these right sides after about 40 laps are just trashed. These guys are fighting so hard for any bit of grip. Kirk Marble is in. Bradley James is in. And with the drivers right behind him coming in, Indy cannot afford to stay out very much longer. It looks like the kid is going to push it, at least one more time. Andy Wilkinson down to second, Pudge in third, Cragen in fourth, and Eric Wilkowiak fifth. And you know what the tire wear these guys are seeing, and the incidents we've seen recently, these guys that haven't been in are hoping they'll get a caution here. They would end up trapping a lot of cars a lap down. Richard Cragen is in. Eric Walkowiak is in. And Puchanowski takes second. Andy is coming in. Now, Indy has at most 6 more laps of fuel. How far is he gonna push it? Puchanowski on the same fuel strategy at the moment. Bradley James has already made his way back to third. Looks like Bradley took right sides only on that stop. And that is a gutsy move that could pay off big time if Bradley James can hold on to her. And the kid is coming in. Indy is on pit road. Will Puchanowski stay out to lead and pick up some points? Yes, he is. Remember, Pudge came in tonight 4th in points, but with Adam Rubel not here, he is likely going to move up into 3rd. And the caution is out. The caution is out for Bradley James, and man, that is huge for Pudge. And Bradley James was up to 3rd. He is having a rough night for being one of the fastest cars on track. All right, there's Bradley coming into 1 and 2, and those cold tires just snap loose on him. Ryan McDaniel had nowhere to go. Looking down from the chopper, remember he had just came off pit road, but only took right sides. And sometimes when you take right sides only, it does impact the handling. It can make the car either way tight or, in this case, way loose. Puchanowski heads to pit road. Looks like Clay Kirchenbauer coming in behind him. Indy's going to stay out and reclaim the lead. And now everybody that comes in, including Pudge, can go the distance on fuel. We'll see how this shakes out, because a lot of drivers are going to end up trapped a lap down here. Gerald, you know how it goes. Caution fans do breed cautions. And it does look like several cars get waved past the pace truck. We're currently showing 9 cars on the lead lap. We'll see how it shakes out. All right, lights go out on the pace truck as they stack back up for the restart. And Pujanowski now has the freshest tires on track. All right, pace truck drops in. And here they come through 3 and 4, Indy in control. And the green flag flies. Indy's away like a bullet. Hudge up top in second. Eric Walkowiak in ninth is currently the first car 1 lap down, right behind the top 2, hoping to get back to the lead lap. Meanwhile, it's a dogfight back behind as you got several cars 1 lap down trying to fight. Oh, we've got 2 cars around. The caution is out. And that's going to help a few drivers. And as we mentioned a few moments ago, cautions breed cautions. Let's take a look at this one involving Larry Waits. All right, looking down from the chopper. Heading off, and it looks like everybody checks up. Larry gets on the brakes. Looks like this man started with Colby Whipple. They're in the green car. Oh, he gets a tap from Pieper. Pieper gets on the brakes. Whipple gets down, and wow. Nobody touches anything. Everybody keeps rolling. And let's see if we can get a word. With the man, the myth, the legend himself, Pujanowski. Pudge, you played the pit strategy perfectly. Now you're in the perfect position.
I am played it. Shoot, I'm glad we played something because I was trash so far. But I'll gladly finish where I'm at. I'm gonna give India a run though.
Man, I gotta say, I don't think you were that much trash. You were fighting up in the top 10. You were moving forward, but man, the strategy plays perfectly. You've got fresher tires, enough fuel, and a lot of clean track ahead.
It did. I was gonna stay out the whole time there. On that last green flag run, we would have had like 1 lap in the green for fuel for the race, and then that caution came out, just landed perfectly.
Man, it definitely worked in your favor. Now only 9-10 cars on the lead lap, and everybody on the lead lap staying out, so you do have the freshest tires by a few laps. A big advantage when it gets late in this one.
It is 100%, and I'm gonna try to make these tires last because they do die off pretty fast after about 15-20 laps, so we're gonna see how it goes.
Well, man, I know the fans are glad to have you back. What do you have to say to them tonight?
What's up, baby? Yes, sir.
All right, go get somebody. Good luck.
Thank you, bud.
You can really tell Pudge is 2 years off. He missed it. Man, he's been tearing it up this season. Tonight's going to be huge in the points. But first he has to get past Indy the Kid Kirchenbauer. Kirk Marble sits in third, Vic Brown in fourth, Andy Wilkinson in fifth, Clay Kirchenbauer, Patrick Pieper, Shane Hoffman, and now Eric Walkowiak, the 9 cars on the lead lap. Austin Ruskoff, the first car, 1 lap down, sitting in 10th. And man, we've seen a lot of green flag laps here tonight. Are we about to see more? Will they go green to the finish? The pace truck drops in. Indy in control of the restart. Here they come out of turn 4. And the green flag flies again. Indy gets off the line perfectly. And Pudge already switching lanes. He opts down to the bottom. Kirk Marble battling with Vic back behind. Patrick Pieper coming back up into the mix. Right on Andy's back bumper. Man, Andy has had a quiet night. Got caught up in one incident, but has been in the top 10 most of the night. Just quietly picking them off. Ryan McDaniel has had a problem. Back behind, no caution yet. And it doesn't look like we're going to see the caution on this one. Let's see if we can see what happened to Ryan. There's Ryan up top, slams the outside wall. Look who he finds, Brian Hewitt. Now we have seen the history between Ryan and Brian, the ongoing battles, and they just cannot avoid each other. Ryan has got it into pit road. Indy still out front. Pujanowski is closing in as they open a gap on Kirk Marble. Kirk holds third, about a second back. Clay in fourth, Patrick Pieper in fifth. Andy Wilkinson still holding on to sixth. Vic Brown in seventh. Shane Hoffman in eighth. Eric Walkowiak, due to getting the lucky dog, had to go to the tail end of the field. So he is currently in ninth, the last car on the lead lap, but still, Eric up 10 spots. Indy and Pudge's last few laps have been almost identical. Oh, Pudge kissing the wall there. But as we mentioned, Pudge does have the fresher tires. He lost a little bit of ground in 3 and 4. That has allowed Kirk to close back up a bit. Meanwhile, Patrick Pieper and Clay Kirchenbauer side by side out of turn 2. Zach Mead has moved up into 10th. Zach has gotten caught up a couple of times, but has kept fighting back now into 10th. Richard Kraken, another one that's been caught up a few times, back up into 11th. Austin Ruskoff back in 12th. Colby Whipple in 13th. Joe Lux in 14th. Gary Wright currently in 15th. Tyler Ott in 16th. Brian Hewitt in 17th. Bradley James on pit road in 18th. Larry Waits in 19th will pick up that spot soon. Colton currently in 20th. Ryan McDaniel now out of the race. Kirk Marble was starting to close back up on Pudge, but has lost ground. Pudge about 3/4 of a second behind the kid. He is reeling him in, but with 25 laps to go, he's going to have to pick it up. And Bradley James is officially out of the race. And that is a gut punch for a driver that was one of the fastest all night long. That was the view from the flag stand. Barney the flagman has a really good view of the track. And Zach Mead has had a problem behind. No caution. He does make it into pit road. See what happened to Zach here. Battling with Craig, and he just gets loose out of two. Slams that inside wall hard. Ouch. And it looks like Larry Waits has had a problem. He has towed it into pit road. Man, Larry had been fighting his way back all night. That has to hurt. Let's see what happened. There's Larry in the Crisco car, comes out of turn 2. Same thing we saw with Zach a moment ago. Looking out from the chopper, comes out of 2 on the power, just snaps loose, slams that inside wall. Hey, good evening, Abraham. Yes, it is. And more great racing to come tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern. Home Motorsports back on track. And don't forget, our race week begins at 11 a.m. Sunday morning when GT3 NSS takes to the track. And this Sunday, we have a Sunday morning doubleheader. As right after that, Home Motorsports GT4 cars take to the track. And Sunday night at 9:30 Eastern, the SMR X Series is back. Indy has been stretching his lead now, 9/10 of a second over Pudge. Kirk slips back to 1.3 seconds with Patrick Pieper and Clay Kirchenbauer right there with him. Andy Wilkinson, though, 0.8 of a second back, and at the moment, Andy is the fastest car on the lead lap. And he is reeling in Clay and the rest of the group. Shane Hoffman now 14 spots into 7th. Vic Brown in 8th. Eric Walkowiak up 10 spots into 9th. Colby Whipple has made his way back up into 11th. A lap down, but he's kept fighting forward. And Indy the Kid is extending his lead, now about 1 1/4 seconds over Pudge. With 14 laps to go, even with older tires, the kid may pull it off. Kirk Marble still sitting in third, Pieper in fourth, Clay in fifth, but Andy Wilkinson continues to get closer and closer. Now just about 0.6 of a second behind Clay. Shane Hoffman in seventh, with Vic looking underneath. Eric Wilkowiak is not far behind him either. Vic gets a run down low, but Shane has the advantage on exit, running that high line. Vic tries to send it deep into 1 and 2. Now on these flat tracks, it is so hard if you don't have the whole track to use. It's really tricky to get by. That outside line, holy cow! Shane got loose out of 4, he slams the inside. The caution is out. And that's gonna change things yet again. Man, Shane was having a great run. All right. Let's take a look at this from the chopper. Shane on the outside, he's pushing it, coming out of 4. Comes down across Vic's nose, and it turns him into the inside wall. That was a hard hit. And Indy Kirchenbauer's coming in. Pudge is staying out. Kirk Marble stays out. Patrick Pieper stays out. Andy Wilkinson stays out. Indy, Clay, Vic Brown, Eric Walkowiak, and Shane Hoffman all coming in. And now you have to wonder which strategy is going to be the best here. Staying out for the track position or coming in to get fresh tires. The top 4 all stayed out, the rest of them coming in. Well, we're under caution, folks, so now's your opportunity. Drop in the comments, let us know who you think's gonna win this one. We'll see if you're right in less than 10 laps. Folks, once again, just don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. YouTube Shorts will start dropping again tomorrow. All right, lights are out on the pace truck. Pudge Janowski and Kirk Marble on the front row. Pudge in control on the restart. And don't forget, if you missed any of tonight's race, it will be on our YouTube channel in 4K later tonight. And Gerald predicts Pudge for the win. We'll see if he's right. Pace truck is in. And the green flag flies. Pudge is away like a bullet. And Pudge timed that perfectly. Patrick Pieper under Kirk. Here comes Clay on fresh tires. And these guys battling back behind is exactly what Pudge needs. Kirk clears as it comes through 3 and 4. Oh, Kirk a little wobbly out of 4. 5 to go. They are 3 wide as the kid goes under. One car spinning into the wall. And Indy on fresh tires, 3 wide on the bottom. Indy sends it deep into 3 and 4. Pieper gets loose. He holds on to it, but drops back to about 6th. Pudge still has the lead. Now Clay on fresh tires. Underneath for 2nd. Here comes in caution. The caution is back out. We will go to a green-white checkered. And now Pudge may be in trouble. There's a lot of fresh tires on his bumper. Patrick Pieper, Gary Wright involved. Let's see what happened. We had seen Pieper lose some ground a few moments before. Oh, Pieper gets a bump. Take another look at this one. Gary just gets a better run right into Pieper. Pieper snaps loose, collects him. Ouch. There you see Gary back behind. Everybody checks up. Gary just can't get it slowed down. Yeah, Pieper did end up blowing up. He had to tow it in. Colby Whipple is now back on the lead lap. Up into 9th. All right, Pujanowski out front. Last pitted lap 104. Kirk Marble in 3rd, last pitted lap 96. Clay Kirchenbauer, Indy Kirchenbauer, Eric Wilkowiak, Shane Hoffman, Vic Brown, and Colby Whipple all pitted lap 141. So about 37, 38 lap fresher tires. Pudge has got to nail this restart perfectly. Now remember, this league started as the Nowski Nation about 5 years ago now. Pudge handed it off to Colby a couple of years ago to take a break. He's back now, but has not been back to victory lane yet. Is tonight the night? He's been on the podium multiple times. You know he wants this win. Pace truck is in. Pudge in control. It'll be 2 to go when the green flag drops. And here we go. Green flag is in the air. 2 to go. Pudge clears. And Kirk Marble trying to peek under Clay. Clay tries to fight back up top. And Indy the kid in the mix. Clay looks underneath Pudge as they come through 3 and 4. Indy pushing. Oh, Indy pushes Pudge into the wall. The white flag. One more time around. Clay has the lead at the moment. And don't look now, Eric Wilkowiak in the mix. He bobbles. Indy looks under his dad into 3. And out of turn 4, Clay Kirchenbauer goes to victory lane at IRP. Indy the Kid coming home in second, and an epic comeback for Eric Wilkowiak, and Bob Ross coming home in third. And man, what a heartbreak for Pudge. He comes home in 8th, still a top 10 and a great points night. But you know he was so close to victory lane. Let's talk to our top 3, starting with Eric. Well, Eric, you finally got Bob back on the podium.
Oh man, that is just being at the right place at the right time and using a little bit of door.
I gotta say, man, that last couple laps, it got really sketchy there, and you got a little loose out of turn 2.
Oh yeah, no, I was all over the place all night. It's a loose car, but again, just right place, right time.
Well, man,
glad to be back.
Well, man, it was a heck of a run, and I told you last season during the off season, don't take Bob off the car. You do much better when he's on there.
Of course, yeah, no, he needs to be back. Glad to put him back on the podium.
Well, man, great job, and I am sure you're going to be in victory lane very soon. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.
Eric coming home in third. Indy the Kid comes home in second. Indy, you managed to pull off second. Didn't have enough for the old man on the last lap, though.
Yeah, kind of stinks. Just dominate that race after the pit stop, and then just to have those yellows just really stinked. I definitely thought that, like, even after that last, yeah, me and Pudge were just 1-2 the whole time, and I don't know what I could have done. I felt like I was super fast all day, and just couldn't.
You do have a tendency to be very fast on flat tracks.
Yeah, I really like IRP, so I was definitely knew I was gonna be good here, and it just sucks that I was put in that position for. I was put in that position on the yellows, because I felt like I had that race locked up, and then for that to happen is really annoying. But
I think we've all been there, buddy.
yeah, it's disappointing.
Well, still a great finish on the podium, man. Congratulations, Indy.
Yep, thank you.
We've talked to the younger Kirchenbauer, now the dad in victory lane. Clay Kirchenbauer pulls off the win. Clay, I know you got to be happy. This was the first track you ever went to see a race at. Told me that before the race, and be in victory lane tonight and beat your kid. That's got to be awesome.
Yeah, well, first off, I think Indy and I both hit Pudge there at the same time, and he was the meat in the Kirchenbauer sandwich, so I want to apologize to him. I was just hard short track racing, obviously nothing intentional. We've been racing together a long time. So if he gets me back next week, I won't hold it against him. But yeah, just having fresh tires there, it's hard. This track baits you into getting back on the gas early. It makes you think you can hit the gas when you can't, and having fresh tires there is just trying to be patient. But you see the white flag, and you got to go. So yeah, I jumped Indy in the pits the last stop there. We both pitted, and he was in front of me, so I took 2 when I knew he would take 4, and that's kind of what won me the race there.
Well, man, you definitely got it done. How worried were you seeing your son right behind you diving it off into turn 3 on that last lap?
I trusted that he wasn't gonna dump me, but I wasn't sure if he was gonna give me the bumper or not. And my wife's sitting here next to me, and I told her, I said, if he's smart, he'll dump me on the restart and then just get the spot. But like I said, I think we both had a good race. I do feel bad about getting into Pudge there at the end, but listen, short track racing, man, you got to get it when you can get it. So feels good to get back in victory lane.
Oh man, a great job. I did say early in the race that this is definitely your kind of track and man, your kind of setup, and it definitely paid off. Congratulations, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Clay Kirchner back in victory lane. Hey, Reap, hope you're feeling better. Wow, what a night of racing. So glad everybody could be a part of it. Don't forget, more racing tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, as Home Motorsports takes to the track. And of course, the Unicorn will be trucking afterwards. You're having a bad day. Tune into that. You'll get enough laughs to make it all better. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Hope y'all had as much fun as we did. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a good one, y'all.